Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the Divine Being look over us lovingly as a mother and father. May the Divine Being support and nourish us as a mother and father. May we have the strength and skill to study together the art of spirituality. May no misunderstandings arise amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace and beneficence be unto us and to all beloved beings everywhere. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening reading and discussion of the life of Sri Sarada Devi, as offered to us by Swami Chitananda in his book Sri Sarada Devi, Her Divine Play. We've come to the end of the book, and we're just reading about Holy Mother's Mahasamadhi, her departure from the world in a physical sense. But it's important for us to remember, if we're inclined this way, that she has not gone anywhere. As Sri Ramakrishna said when he left and she was mourning and beginning to behave as a Hindu widow, he said to Sri Sarada Devi, he appeared to her and said, "What are you doing? I've only gone in the next room. I'm just behind the curtain." And so that's the case with Holy Mother. She is not gone from us. We are not bereft of the Mother. She is with us in her subtle form. She is just in the next room, just behind the curtain, to use Sri Ramakrishna's words. So before we go ahead, is there anything that anyone would like to comment from their own wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that any of this raises for you? All right, I'm our very lovingly thoughtful and good reader is Haima Naidu, and she's going to start with some final letters that were written about the Mother's Mahasamadhi.
Go ahead, Brother Shankara. You want me to start?
We're not hearing you, Haima.
Oh, can you hear me now? Any better?
That's better, yes.
Okay. Sorry. Good evening and namaste, everybody. I'm starting on page 758 from the top so that we can read her merging into the divine. When the mother's earthly life ended and she merged into the divine, her spirit began to spread in the east and the west. The following two letters testify to the mother's divine influence permeating the minds of two important persons, one of the east and one of the west, who knew her intimately. M, the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, received immense love and grace from the Master and the Mother. Holy Mother initiated him, his wife, and all his children. A little over a year after the Mother's passing away, he wrote a letter of consolation to Umesh Chandra Datta, a fellow disciple. Here they are. Calcutta, Durga Puja, 1328, 1921. Dear Umesh, upon receiving your letter, I realized that we have truly lost our mother. Alas, 1 year has passed since she disappeared from us. There is a saying that children pass through a hard time for a year after losing their mother. However, here is a song. Mother, mother, my boat is sinking here in the ocean of this world. Fiercely, the hurricane of delusion rages on every side. Clumsy is my helmsman, the mind. Stubborn my six oarsmen, the passions. Into a pitiless wind, I sail my boat, and now it is sinking. Split is the rudder of devotion. Tattered is the sail of faith. Into my boat, the waters are pouring. Tell me, what shall I do? Far with my failing eyes, alas, nothing but darkness do I see. Here in the waves I will swim, O Mother, and cling to the raft of thy name. Now, where is the way out? When a mother spanks her children, they cry saying, Mother, Mother, to go back to her lap. The children's only resort is to cry and call out, Mother, Mother, like kittens. Let her will be done. What more shall I write to you? Your condition and my condition are the same. Now the only thing we can do is to call Mother, Mother. Today is Bodhan, the awakening ceremony of the Divine Mother, who has come to receive worship in Bengal as Durga, the same mother who took human form and thought of our welfare till 21st July last year. Is she not thinking of us now? It is impossible for Holy Mother to forget us. The other day, I had a dream. The mother said to me, as you saw me when I gave up the body, that body was made of Maya. Look, I still remain in the same form. Affectionately, Srima Yam. Miss Josephine MacLeod.
Hang on just for a minute.
Sure. Yes.
Is there any comment or question or concern from anyone about what M wrote to Umesh? Anything at all from anyone that you'd like to say?
Brother, this is Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
I have a question. Do we know where that song comes from?
No, dear, but if you have the book, right?
Yes.
Just Google the first couple of lines, it should come up for you.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Anything else?
I think she's definitely working in the universe, Brother Shankara. We can see the result of it now.
Yes.
She is definitely at work. It's slow, but she will uphold the dharma.
Yes.
Definitely she
That's
will.
a very good way to say it, dear.
I see that she will
uphold the dharma. Yes.
Definitely she will uphold democracy in US also. I see that it's coming. I mean, there will be turbulences and turmoils a little bit, but still it's working. She's there. She's there. I believe in that.
Well,
I
I
see
do
that.
too, dear.
Thank you.
So anything else from anyone?
I love this poem, Shankaraji. M wrote such an appropriate poem. I really love that, the way the whole thing is described.
Thank you, Bala. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So for those of you who don't know, is there anything else before we go ahead? For those of you who don't know, Josephine MacLeod, also known as Tantine, Little Ant, and Jojo, was Swami Vivekananda's disciple and they were very close friends, as well as having a guru-disciple relationship. They were very good friends. And she was a remarkable, remarkable woman in so many ways, a real model for Western women to look at. And she never married. She was independent and very thoughtful and well, you'll see what kind of person she was in the letter she writes. So please go ahead, Haima, dear.
Okay, Brother Shankara. Miss Josephine McLeod was a wonderful American devotee and very dear to Holy Mother, who called her Jaya. When the mother passed away, Jaya was staying in England with her niece Alberta. After receiving the sad news, she wrote to Swami Saradananda. 15th of August 1920, Halscroft, Stratford-on-Avon. Dearest Saradananda, first from dear Mrs. Sevier, other from Boshi Sen, after he returned from the cremation at the Mutt, that have I heard of Holy Mother's death on July 21st. And so that brave, quiet, strong soul has gone out, having left to modern Hindu womanhood the ideal of the great place that woman is to take in the next 3,000 years. To me, her life is one of intense encouragement, gathering all of us under her sheltering and understanding life, creating new precedents as new needs arise, self-reliant, direct, wise. Oh, what an example each of us can make of her. She created new precedents. So must we, not hers, but our own. In no other way can the world's problems be solved. Yours in sincerity and affection, J. McLeod. Beautiful letter.
Yes. So before we go on to the final subhead, which is conclusion, is there anything about Miss McLeod's letter or anything about, since you've had a chance to be thinking about all this, anything at all from anyone about what we've read and heard so far? All right, dear. Now I'll remind you that this conclusion, this is Swami Chaitananda speaking to us. Swami Chaitananda was, if I say was, is, he's still alive, but he in researching this book, he was as thorough as a human being can possibly be, and as loving and as intensely desirous of presenting the Mother to us in a way that would be both inspiring and inspiring of our faith and our love, but also to bring us forward into the 20th century with Holy Mother. She didn't leave us till July 21st, 1920. Just imagine. So now the subhead reads conclusion. Haima?
Yes, Brother Shankara. Conclusion. In one sense, Holy Mother's biography ends here, yet in another sense, it begins here, as she has entered into the minds of innumerable people around the world. Shortly after Holy Mother's passing, hundreds of people who knew her personally began to record their reminiscences. Some of her disciples and devotees wrote biographies and articles about her, composed poems and songs about her, and spoke about her privately and publicly for more than half a century after her passing away. Now, Holy Mother has been enshrined in millions of homes, and has entered the hearts of millions and millions of people all over the world. People are now meditating on her divine form, repeating her name, praying to her for solace and succor, getting inspiration from her immortal life and message, and thus glorifying the greatness and divinity of Holy Mother. The play of divine beings never stops. Only the fortunate ones witness it. Swami Shantananda, an attendant of Holy Mother, narrated how, long after her passing away, he received a command from Holy Mother that reassured him of her living presence. He
Now
said
notice,
that,
not just hold on just a moment.
yeah,
Notice years after, what does it say about how long later? Long after her
after her
passing.
passing away. Yes,
He
narrated how.
received a command from Holy Mother that reassured him of her living presence. The reason the Swami brings this to our attention so clearly and so straightforwardly is that is not something that just this Swami experienced. Any of us can experience it. If we pray to Holy Mother, if we are sincere in our wish to receive her grace in the form of her vision, the Swamis tell us this will surely come to us. So it just depends on your temperament and your disposition as to what you want to do. But the reason the Swami points this out so directly, that she has not gone anywhere, as I said at the very beginning, she's only behind the curtain. Any comments or questions from anyone? Okay, dear, please go ahead.
He said that during her lifetime, the mother had once told him how to receive her command. It follows here. If there is any crisis in your life, remember me. Isolate yourself from others for a few days and practice japa and meditation intensely. Pray wholeheartedly and ask me, Mother, what shall I do? During that period, eat less and keep your body and mind pure. Try to maintain silence and speak only if it is absolutely necessary. Don't let other people know what you're doing. Continue your prayer.
Now, I hope everyone is understanding. We're getting our instructions about how to go about this.
Exactly.
So please start again from.
I will. There is still a little more, few lines, and then I'll start all over again, Brother Shankara.
All right.
This whole paragraph is her instructions.
Right.
Continue your prayer and sadhana in this way with a one-pointed mind. Never lose patience. If you see that you are not receiving my command, still you should not give up hope. If you find that no response is coming, then know for certain that your mind has not risen high enough to receive my command. You will definitely receive my command if you call on me with wholehearted faith and devotion. I'll read this all over. If there is any crisis in your life, remember me. Isolate yourself from others for a few days and practice japa and meditation intensely. Pray wholeheartedly and ask me, Mother, what shall I do? During that period, eat less and keep your body and mind pure. Try to maintain silence and speak only if it is absolutely necessary. Don't let other people know what you're doing. Continue your prayer and sadhana in this way with a one-pointed mind. Never lose patience. If you see that you are not receiving my command, still you should not give up hope. If you find that no response is coming, then know for certain that your mind has not risen high enough to receive my command. You will definitely receive my command if you call on me with wholehearted faith and devotion.
All right, let's pause here. And is there any comment from any of you from your own wisdom or experience, or any concern or question that this raises?
This actually assures me that, Mother as an avatara, she's telling me what I should do.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing is have faith completely on this statement.
Thank you, Balaji. Exactly.
Yes.
Just believe what she says and do it to the best of your ability. She's talking to a Swami here. So a Swami has the opportunity to do these kinds of things much more intensely than a householder will. But it's still, if you make any attempt in this direction, you will receive her grace. If you do it wholeheartedly and with the faith that Balakrishna just mentioned. Mother understands that a householder's life is very different from that of a Swami. And so the demand is not as high. These are instructions for us to do as best we can, particularly to separate yourself from others for a few days. Maintain silence as much as possible. And just pray. Pray for her presence and as she says, her command. Anything else from anyone? Thank you, Balaji.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, dear, please go on.
Also, Brother Shankara, Krishna said to Arjuna in chapter 13, meditate, you will see the big self in yourself.
Yes.
Capital S self in yourself. Exactly the same instruction. And some people do it by yoga, of knowledge of yoga, and some people by selfless action. You will see me. That's what he tells Arjuna. So that's exactly Mother is saying, wholehearted faith and devotion are the two ingredients that are so important to really, I believe in this, truly.
Yeah, right. These are his deeply, as he says, his deeply secret instructions.
Brother Shankara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, dear.
Okay, because I think I had a different setting. I was trying to ask a question. So my question is, Mother says, during that time, keep your body pure and eat less and your mind pure. It's not that difficult to keep the body pure and eat less, but it is difficult to keep the mind pure, and not necessarily that we are having bad thoughts or harmful thoughts about anybody, but just the anxiety and the clinging is hard to let go.
This is why I made the distinction between a Swami and a householder. A Swami's life is one of constant practice of this letting go and being the witness to anxiety and not letting it capture you. But a householder, so many duties are there, so many distractions are there, so many demands are there. Mother does not expect the same thing of you. Just do your best. Do your best and say to Mother, just as it says in Om Ring Ritam, I take refuge in you, friend of the lowly, friend of those who are not as capable as they will become. But it doesn't mean if you take refuge in these holy beings, they will respond. This is their promise again and again and again. And I don't know how many times Krishna makes the promise in the Gita. In 700 verses, he must make this promise in one way or another at least 50 times. Just have faith in me, call on me, meditate on me, and you will become dear to me. You will become my own.
Thank you.
And even that great Christian hymn, we're about to celebrate the birth of Christ. That great Christian hymn. I come to the garden alone while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear whispering in my ear, the Son of God discloses, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. The joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And so it's not restricted to any one of the traditions. This promise that the divine presence in the form of these avatars and avataras, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, they are with us. They are ever present, as Swami Vivekananda says. In a way, he says it lightheartedly. He says, where would they go? There's only this one existence. Where would they go? So they're just at, as Swami Prabhavananda said over and over and over to us, just at your fingertips, nearer than the nearmost. Anything else from anyone? Thank you, Swayam.
Shankaraji,
Yes, dear.
the poem you just said, who said that? Christ?
No, that poem was written by a Methodist minister, I believe in the 19th century. I knew his name. It's in my notes, but it's a song rather than a poem. I just read it as a poem. The second verse goes like this. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing. The melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. In other words, the mantra that he gave, that Christ gave this man, the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And yes, he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. The joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. Methodism, the reason for the name Methodism is it teaches a method of knowing God. And this is why this minister wrote what I believe was evidence of his own experience. The reason I think that is because it was the favorite hymn in English of Swami Prabhavananda. And if there hadn't been real truth and sincerity in it, I don't think he would have had that attitude to it.
No, the reason I asked you is when you said that the Son of God, so I was wondering, I didn't know whether it was sung by the Christ itself, or that's why I raised that thing, because I didn't understand that part of it. The second thing I just knew. So when they say is Methodist, that means Methodist Church and all those things, it means that is the method way how they go to the reach the God. Is that what is exactly?
That's the meaning of the name Methodism. Of course, like all churches, that has become more dispersed, more diffuse over time. But if you go back to the original teachings of the founder of Methodism, whose name escapes me right now, I'm sorry, I just, as I've gotten older, as Jerry Brunner says, my memory is fine. The recall function is what's impaired.
That's right.
So, but in any case, you can go just Google founder of Methodism or teachings of the founder of Methodism. And so the Methodist Church, yes, indeed. And just to be very straightforward, one of the two strongest influences in my young life before I was 9 years old were my grandmother, my mother's mother. When I was 2 and 3 years old, she was reading me Bible stories in these comic books produced by the Methodist Church, comic books, telling the stories of Christ. And then the minister who christened me was named Pop Taylor. He christened me when I was 4 years old, and I became very close to him when I was 8 and 9 years old. Very close. And it was a very sweet relationship. And so he seemed to me to be someone who, if he wasn't a realized soul, he certainly was an embodiment of that hymn that I just gave the first 2 verses of.
John Wesley, Brother Shankara. Google says John Wesley. He's the English theologian.
Yes, John Wesley. Thank you.
Evangelist, yes.
And he developed a system of teachings that we would recognize as a kind of workbook, a yoga for realizing, and it was the method. And so the church was known as Methodism.
Brother Shankara?
Yes, dear.
Going back to the song for just a minute, I performed that hymn at a memorial service just a couple of weeks ago. So
isn't it a beaut? It's just
it is, and it's always been a favorite in my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
so I knew. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I knew right where to grab the music to let you know that it was written by C, that is the letter C, Austin Miles.
Uh-huh.
And it goes by In the Garden.
Does it have the year?
Yes, it does. 1912.
1912, so it was in the 20th century.
Yes, sir.
I didn't realize it was that late. So there we are.
Can I read this one more time, Brother Shankara? What Mother told Shantananda, Swami Shantananda, this command.
I think that's enough.
That's good enough? Okay.
Anyone who wants to find it again, they can come back to the recording of this class. Or if they have the book, of course, they can read it.
Yeah, 760. Right.
So let's go ahead.
Let's continue. Okay. This is truly a gospel of hope for children of the mother. The compassionate mother left clear and simple directions for us to reach her when we're buffeted by tension and anxiety, temptation and frustration, trials and tribulations, crisis and depression. When we can find no way out.
Let's go over that list again.
Yes,
because that's exactly what Swayam was pointing.
She was just mentioning that. Yes.
Please go over that list again.
This is truly a gospel of hope for children of the mother.
And we're all children of the mother. We are all children of the mother. She said that over and over in this book.
The compassionate mother left clear and simple directions for us to reach her when we are buffeted by tension and anxiety, temptation and frustration, trials and tribulations, crisis and depression. When we can find no way out from the turbulent ocean of Maya. Holy Mother was infinite. No biographer can write her complete biography. When Swami Sharadananda visited Varanasi after the mother had passed away, some elderly monks said to him, "Please write a biography of Holy Mother so that future generations might understand her life correctly. You have performed a great service for the world by writing the biography of Sri Ramakrishna. It would be wonderful if you were to write the mother's life." Instead of responding directly, the Swami recited this song in Bengali as follows. "I was amazed to witness the play of the playful mother, but now I wonder whether to laugh or cry. So long did I live near her and follow her steps, yet I failed to understand and now acknowledge my defeat. Various her actions in this world, destroying and creating. All this is child's play to her. This much I have understood." I'll read that one more time. Can I read the poem one more time?
Please do, dear.
The song. Instead of responding directly, the Swami recited this song in Bengali. "I was amazed to witness the play of the playful mother, but now I wonder whether to laugh or cry. So long did I live near her and follow her steps, yet I failed to understand and now acknowledge my defeat. Various are her actions in this world, destroying and creating. All this is child's play to her. This much I have understood." That's the end.
And if that's the end of the book, dear?
Yes.
Okay. Then let me just refer everyone to the 4 hymns of the Chandi, of the Devi Mahatmya, these 4 hymns in praise of the Divine Mother. They say that even her mind-born sons, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, do not understand her. They do not understand her. And it says in the Chandi, this entire world is made of an infinitesimal portion of yourself. O Mother, you are the all-pervading Devi who constantly presides over the senses of all beings and governs all the elements, which is what Sri Ramakrishna meant when he said again and again, God alone is the doer. God alone is the doer. God alone is real. All else is illusory. Now, does that mean it isn't a kind of reality? It is a kind of reality. But there's no way that our minds, there's no way that our intellect is going to understand the nature of reality. As it says in the evening hymn to Sri Ramakrishna by Vivekananda, breaker of this world's chain. Speech cannot hold thee, nor mind, yet without thee we think not nor speak. So the mother is doing all this. So please read that poem again, dear, and let's hear it in that context. This is a Bengali poem, of course, but it's saying exactly the truth.
That's right. Instead of responding directly, the Swami recited this song in Bengali. I was amazed to witness the play of the playful mother, but now I wonder whether to laugh or cry. So long did I live near her and follow her steps. Yet I failed to understand now and now acknowledge my defeat. Various are her actions in this world, destroying and creating. All this is child's play to her. This much I have understood.
It's all child's play to her. So before we go back and read those instructions that she left for us, she left for the Swami, before we go back and read those again, is there any discussion at all about all of this from you? Something from your own wisdom or experience? Any concern you'd like to raise? Any question you'd like to ask? This is the end of the book, but it certainly is not the end of our experience of the mother, because she is the reality. We are her children. We are the children of her Maya, of her Shakti, of her power and her energy, as has been said by everyone from Vashishta to Adi Shankaracharya to in his own way Chaitanya, and in his own way Christ, in his own way Sri Ramakrishna. This is nothing but a vibration of consciousness. We are a vibration of consciousness. And that's why, if we are sincere and persistent, there's a wonder in the way we're always free to change the world by changing how we see. That's a couplet from a song by Cindy Craven. There's a wonder in the way we're always free to change the world by changing how we see. So Haima, I'm sure you can find your way back to what the Swami was told.
Yes.
Brother Shankar,
Yes, dear.
yesterday I happened to come across a video talk by Alan Watts.
Uh-huh.
Brother Swami Sarvapriyananda has mentioned him in a few of his talks, and a couple of things like grabbed my attention, so to speak. If I'm quoting him right or paraphrasing, he said that we are not born into the universe, we are born out of the universe.
Yes.
And he also said that we we have nothing to do, but doesn't mean we don't have to do anything.
But we have nothing to prove.
Proof.
There is nothing for us to prove. There's nothing for us, there's nothing to be earned. This is not a meritocracy. And that's why Watts pointed out, we're not born into the universe, we are born out of the universe. The universe is our mother. Therefore, we are her children. And so we have nothing to prove to anyone. There's nothing for us to do. Yes, we will act, because that's the vibration of consciousness. Being, creating, doing, sharing. The joys of these is why we're here. So this is, but sometimes we get all of these things that are mentioned by the Swami. I depressed, anxious, so on. Anything else from anyone? Thank you, Swayam, for bringing that up.
Shankaraji, we are
Yes.
not reading the epilogue.
Well, is there an epilogue?
Be happy to. There is an epilogue, Brother Shankara, after this her
Well,
story.
then, I thought you said that was the end of the book. I'd forgotten. It's been so long since I read the book. I
There
don't
is
remember.
epilogue, a few pages of epilogue is there. We can
Well,
start
let's go ahead and read that then.
her family and everything. I just want to make one comment about this poem, this song, destroying and creating. We see that right in front of us happening,
Oh, yes.
destruction and creation. And
Yes.
it's very difficult to understand. It's a God's play, but that's what history has been, and that's what is happening now.
And we'll go on until
on and
the
on.
universe comes to a stop.
Yes. Yesterday, Anderson Cooper, CNN anchor person, was saying to Terry Gross on the NPR, there is no joy without sadness.
Yes.
First, sadness comes and then the joy comes later on. I know that person has gone through so much in his own life, losing father, losing brother for tragic death, and then the mother. So I thought that was really true. There's no joy without sadness.
Well, this is exactly the nature of universe. This is pointed out over and over again by all the teachers who tell us about universe. There is no such thing as light without darkness. There's no such that we would not know the light if we did not know darkness. We would not know what if it was only light. We wouldn't know what it is.
We won't be able to see the stars if there is only light. We will never see the stars in the sky. They don't shine in the light. They only shine in the darkness.
Right.
So is the moon.
By the way, because it just crossed my mind, I'll mention there is no class next week. Whatever we do, whether we finish the epilogue tonight or whether we finish it after the first of the year, there will be no classes between Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because we all will have families coming and going. That'd be nice.
Yes.
Break, vacation. Okay, I can start the epilogue now.
Please.
Epilogue. I salute the Divine Mother Sri Sarada Devi and Sri Ramakrishna, the Guru of the world. Taking shelter at their lotus feet, I bow down to them again and again. This was a hymn by Swami Abhedananda. We have made a long journey with Holy Mother, following her divine drama with innumerable characters over a period of nearly 7 decades. Readers might be curious to know what happened after her passing away to some of the people who performed important roles in Holy Mother's play. Blessed are those souls who recognize the Mother's divinity by her grace, and equally blessed are they who recognize her as human. We can see the Mother's divine and human aspects through them. They all left their wonderful experiences and fascinating stories, which are now objects of meditation for us. Holy Mother's nieces. Appendix 5 presents Holy Mother's family tree, which will help the reader to visualize her connection with her close relations. Holy Mother's nieces Nalini, Sushila, known as Maku, and Radharani, known as Radhu, revealed her human aspects. Though they had their sweet and loving aspects, these women were often jealous, angry, selfish, sensitive, narrow-minded, and quarrelsome. Nalini had a historical mania for cleanliness and purity, and the others had a strong attachment to worldly life. One should not be upset by the strange behavior of these women and their ill treatment of their aunt because they were acting in their roles to glorify the life of the mother. In Holy Mother's divine drama, they represented people who are endowed with more or less similar traits. It is worth noting how Holy Mother lived harmoniously among these complex characters, how she tackled their problems and maintained her sanity. Her teachings to her nieces are meant for all human beings who have similar problems. Her love and compassion, forbearance and forgiveness conquered their hearts. And despite their shortcomings, they knew that their aunt was their all in all. When Holy Mother passed away, her niece's miserable condition was like that of the relatives of Krishna when he departed from the world. Uddhava described it to Vidura. This world is unfortunate, and more unfortunate are the people of Yadu dynasty. As fish do not recognize the glory of the full moon as long as they see its reflection in water, considering it to be only one among themselves, so did the Yadus fail to realize Lord Hari, God, who was living with them. It's amazing that they did not know Krishna was the Lord of all beings. But under the influence of Maya, some looked upon him as the chief of their dynasty, some as a relative, some as a friend, and others as an enemy. Any comments, Brother Shankar? We will go to Nalini next.
No, it's just
So true.
all of this is just so true. Yes,
Exactly.
it is even even Arjuna often forgot because Krishna caused him to forget by his Maya. He forgot Arjuna forgot who his comrade, his friend was, because otherwise they could not have been comrades and friends.
Until he showed him cosmic form, until he showed his cosmic form and gave him the divine eyes to see him.
Yes, but he couldn't stand that and asked him to resume his familiar form.
Exactly. He asked him to go back.
And then he forgot again.
The same with Duryodhana, when Krishna asked him, you want all these 10,000 or million of these soldiers, or do you want just me? I'm not going to be doing the war. I'm just going to be the chariot. And then Duryodhana fell for the other millions, but not for the actual Lord of the universe.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. He didn't even realize.
And this, of course, is an instruction for all of us. As Krishna says, you walk right by me. You walk right by me. You don't see. And of course, Christ said it, the kingdom is within and without. You do not see. You do not see. And so, are we bad and wrong for not seeing? No, we just are ignorant. This is why we're here this evening. This is why we're doing this, to dispel our ignorance, to gain faith, strength of character, and the willingness to do what is necessary to dive deep within ourselves, because we quickly learn as we march along this path. We quickly learn just how true it is that there is no happiness or satisfaction in the world. We're going to depart this world. This spacesuit is quickly going to go away. Where do we find true freedom, true happiness, true bliss? Within. And so it gives us the courage and the strength to dive deep within and learn to listen to the language of silence, which is the language of God, as Meister Eckhart pointed out.
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
I interpret that the Yadus who did not recognize Krishna as the Lord, in a way, were still blessed because they were in His presence, and like Krishna says in the Gita, even a little bit of practice of this will, relieve you
Free,
from this
free,
wheel
free
of,
you, free,
will free
free
you.
from the terrible wheel of rebirth and death.
Death. So I think so that is an encouragement for us, that I'm sure at some point they would have been in awe of him or something, even if they didn't believe him as God. So he, in his play, he might have made these people like that to give encouragement to those who have a hard time, to have that deep faith.
Yes, the Lord's grace is always being showered on us. It is we who do not recognize it. As Sri Ramakrishna said, the breeze of grace is always blowing. You have only to raise your sails. So we just learn from a guru, from a book if we must, from someone, from something or someone, how to raise our sails. And then we raise our sails, and then we begin to feel that breeze of grace. We have the three graces, or we wouldn't be here this evening. The three graces being human birth, first. The second, which is glorious, as Thomas Merton pointed out, just that by itself is glorious. Everyone is walking around, he said, shining like the sun. That was his vision. What is the second grace? The second grace is the desire for liberation, the coming to the conclusion that I have to find a way out of here. This is not these limitations that are natural to human birth are too, they bind me too much. So you develop this mumukshutvam, this desire for liberation, this desire. And then the third grace is the grace of a qualified teacher. Now, of course, we have been listening, and whenever we're hearing the voice of Mother, of course, but also the voice of Swami Chaitananda, who is himself a qualified teacher. Otherwise, he would not serve as guru, remover of darkness, darkness remover. So we have qualified teacher. So those are the three graces. So let us revel in that. We have those three graces. So I think after the first of the year, we'll read all of this epilogue again. Starting at the beginning, we'll read the epilogue. Thank you for bringing it to our attention, whoever it was that said there's an epilogue. So anything else from anyone before we wind it up for the year? I mean, wind up this class for the year. There's Wednesday night class, and then of course there's no Saturday class because that will be Christmas Eve worship at the same time that the Saturday class would be going on. And then, as I said, there's no classes in the final week of the year. Anything else from anyone before we wind this up?
Yes, brother, this is Jeff.
Yes, Jeff.
One of the things that there are many examples of Holy Mother demonstrating her motherly love.
Yes.
And one of the things that really struck me is the number of times that she is described as saying goodbye to one of her visitors and then standing and watching them depart. It might be a slow boat on the Ganges, or it might be a bullock cart, or whatever it is. She would stand there until they were no longer in her sight. And
Yes.
And the fact that that was related so many times in this book, it
Hold on just 1 minute. One of those calls anyway, you were saying.
I was just saying that I was just very touched by that kept appearing in the book
Well,
numerous times.
there's a very good reason for that, Chaitanananda, and you received the message. Yes, Chaitanananda mentioned it over and over again, very deliberately. You may be sure of that. He didn't just casually mention it once. He mentioned it over and over until it gets through that this is the mother. And oftentimes tears would be streaming down her cheeks as she watched them go away. She didn't want them to go away so soon. And she would be very sad at their departure. So thank you so very much for bringing that up and bringing it to our attention, Jeff. Yes, exactly. The compassionate, the loving, the attentive mother, watching them until they were out of sight. Anything else from anyone? Oh, beloved mother. O Devi, you who remove the afflictions of the universe, be gracious to us who have bowed to you. O you worthy of adoration by the dwellers of the three worlds, be boon giver to the worlds. O Devi, you who remove the afflictions of the universe, be gracious to us who have bowed to you. O you worthy of adoration by the dwellers of the three worlds, be boon giver to the worlds. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai, Durga Durga Durga. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be cheerful. May we have peace of mind. And may we be always in the loving and protective embrace and know that we are in the loving and protective embrace of the divine presence as our mother and father. Any final thought from anyone? All right, dears. As always, it's such a joy to share these evenings with you. And may the blessings, may the full blessings of these holy days be upon you. We just celebrated the mother's birthday, which this year fell on December 15th. We celebrated it on the 18th with a lovely gathering. And then on Christmas Eve, we will celebrate the birth of Christ. And that will be equally loving and intense. And we'll be on Zoom for those of you who can't come. Just look in the newsletter for details. The newsletter will come out on Thursday in all likelihood. Any final thought or comment or question from anyone? All right, dears.
See you tomorrow evening.
Say it again, dear.
We will see you tomorrow evening.
Yes,
Zoom.
looking
Jnana
forward to tomorrow evening. Divine Grace with Swami Ranganathananda. We're also coming toward the end of that book. Or just so you'll know, and when we do finally wrap this book up, after the first of the year. On Tuesday nights, we'll take up the study of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
And on Wednesday evenings, after we finish Divine Grace, which we're in no hurry to finish, it's such a lovely book. So much is there. But when we do finish it, we're going to take up Bhagavad Gita. So next year, in January of next year, in all likelihood, it'll be in January, we'll start both of those books.
That'll be great.
All right.
Thank you.
A great good night to you all.
Good night.
The blessings of the holy days be upon you.
Good night.